Hello happy people, Hamza here and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create a WordPress website, and this tutorial is totally for beginners. In case you ever wanted to learn how to create a WordPress website, this tutorial is for you. I'm going to show you every step on how you can actually build your WordPress website on a local server whereby you are not on pressure on when you are getting started or using your web hosting resources. But I'll basically show you how to get started designing your website on a local host, show you how to get WordPress, install WordPress, customize your pages, your contact pages, your home page, and set up your website responsive settings. On top of that, also be in position to create every other section using one of the most amazing tools out there called the Elementor Page Builder, which helps you to actually edit and style up your WordPress website in any way that you like. I'll also show you a simple way how you are going to migrate your website from the local host environment on your computer to a hosting environment. And this is actually a hosting environment whereby anyone on the internet will be able to access your WordPress website with ease. And I'll show you a quick way on how you can also get around that whole process. So in this tutorial, you actually don't need any prior knowledge or experience in building a WordPress website. Every step I'm going to show you is totally the easiest way you can actually get started building your WordPress website. Now let's get started and I show you around what we actually will be building in this tutorial. So the website we are going to be building is going to look something like this with a logo right here. I'll also show you every step on how you can create your logo for free. And I'll also show you how to create such a navigation, adding all these menu items, creating pages, customizing your first hero section here on your home page, and creating every other bit of your home section just like this, and also styling up every other section on this home page. I'll also show you exactly how you can add a footer just like this, or even a footer menu to your WordPress website even when you are getting started. The other thing that you have to do is that I'll show you every step on how you can create a contact form just like this, which is actually a contact page on your Elementor website, adding several sections, customizing the contact form information, and also adding a map to your Elementor or WordPress website with ease and without any prior knowledge on doing this. And then before, I'll also show you how we actually manage to build our website using a local environment without first having to host our website, because I find it hard that when someone is getting started building their website, they are first rushing into getting a domain name and hosting before they actually know what they want to build. That's why I recommend that you follow this tutorial and first build your website on a local host environment on your computer basically, so that you have everything set up, and then by the time you decide to host your website or move your website on the internet, your website will be ready and people will be ready to visit your website, and you will be open to business. And this is why I find it easy that when you create your website using a local host environment, that way it helps you to work flawlessly and with ease and without any kind of pressure. So I'll show you exactly how you can get started at building your website on your computer at home at any point in time. Whenever you get time to add something on your website, you'll always have time to. And then later I'll show you a simple and quick way on how you can back up and migrate your website to a hosting environment, and I'll show you how to actually get started on moving your website from your local host environment to a hosted environment. I mean, this is the public server whereby everyone will be in position to access your exact website, and you won't need any technical skills to do this. It's actually a process that takes less than 5 minutes, and once your website is on a live server, you won't even notice anything that changed on your website, because all the links will be working flawlessly and everything that you had done on your website on a local computer will be reflected on the hosted website. And the other thing that you'll only have to do is basically to test out some forms like your contact form and where the emails are going, and then you are good to go. So if you are new and you ever wanted actually to build our website, I highly suggest that you watch this tutorial to have an idea on how you can get started building your WordPress website with zero technical skills. And in case you have any questions, comments about this tutorial or a specific section in this tutorial, please let me know also right down in the comment box below. And I'm going also to leave some very useful resources of other tutorials I've created previously that would also help you in this specific tutorial to set up a couple of different sections like contact forms, like about pages, home pages, or specifically some sections using Elementor. Now, I welcome you into building your first WordPress website. So to get started, we are going to go straight to gotechuji.com/FW Now that will take you straight to a website called Flywheel. And what we are going to do here is basically to get a software that we are going to use for our local WordPress development or WordPress website design. And simply scroll down here in the footer and click on the word local. And once you are here, you're going to simply come over here to download, and then you will choose the system you have, whether you have a MacBook or a Windows or a Linux computer, and you select that. Since I'm using a MacBook, I simply select a MacBook, and then I can enter in my name, all the details, and once I'm done, I simply get it now. So this means that I will download this software on my computer. Now, once that software is downloaded on your computer, you simply install it. Once it is installed, then you simply open it up by searching for local, and boom, here it will show up. Now that is after downloading and installing. Next thing we are going to do is simply come over here and say create a new site, and we are going to give our website a name. The name of my website is going to be called DN Consult, and down here on the advanced options, there is something like the local domain. One thing you have to understand is that when we use the local by Flywheel software that we are going to use to design our website, we'll be designing this website locally on our computer. So that means your website will not be on the internet for now. I want that we can design everything and then later we'll transfer it online. And this software basically enables us to build or design our website locally on our computer, make changes, and once we are ready, then we can simply migrate it to a live server. Like I've told you already that we will be migrating it, and then we have it go live. Under here, the advanced options, this is going to be the local domain that you're going to be using on the browser. Okay. And then once we transfer our website on a hosting platform, then you will have to register a domain and then get a hosting platform so that your website can be accessed anywhere in the world. Then right on this side, you have to browse where you want your files to be saved on your computer. In this case, they will be saved on a folder called local sites, which is okay. And then with this software, you can create and use blueprints. You can create a setup or a specific way that you design your websites locally, but we don't want to look into that at the moment. And if you want a separate tutorial on how to use or even to install and set up your local by Flywheel software, I have a video on that, and please you check it up here in the card or in the description box below. Now, once you set up or once you give a name to your new website, simply continue, and then we will have to choose our environment. So there is a custom option whereby we have to set up our PHP version, database version. I don't want you to go into that. Simply stay on the provide version, then continue, and then here we have to give a username and a password for our website. Now this is the username that you'll be using whenever you want to log into your WordPress website to make changes, to make adjustments, and then the password is that password that you enter along with that username. In this case, I'm going to name this to be DN. I'm going to generate a password. I'll simply use this password. Under the advanced settings, we won't do anything that side, so we simply add a new site. Now this is going to do for us the hard work of installing WordPress, setting up the database, the username, the PHP version, the server version, and all that stuff. And this process basically takes a few minutes, and once it's done, automatically you'll be given a prompt over here. For Mac users, you'll be prompted to allow installation of this new website on your local computer. Once you are ready to start setting up your website, you receive this notification from local by Flywheel that shows you that actually your website is ready. Now the beauty with this software, once you are using it or once you have it on your computer installed, you can design as many websites as possible by setting up over here a new website, and then you are good to go. At the moment, we have only one website of ours, and we are ready to start customizing or designing our website. Now once you click over here on view site, it will show you by default how your website is looking like. Now this is the default installation of WordPress 2020. Okay, and how do we make changes to these pages, heading, changing the home page, the footer? That's what we are going to see right in this tutorial. So you simply come back here to your application or to local by Flywheel, and you simply come over here to admin. And under admin, this is where you have to enter in the username that you set up, DN consult, and the password, and we log in. Boom! We are finally in our new locally designed WordPress website. Of course, we haven't yet made any changes on this website. So in the back end, this is how it looks like. This is how WordPress looks like. And on the front end, this is what other people who are going to visit this website, this is what they see. But at the moment, no one is able to access your website because it is on your computer, it is locally here, and any changes will only be seen by us. And now what we are going to start doing is now customizing every bit of our website. But before we go into that, remember we still have local by Flywheel. Whenever you are customizing your website, this application has to be running. That means that you have to be starting it on your computer, and once you start it, then you make sure that the website is actually running non-stopped. Okay, so it has to be having this in green. And the other thing, if you don't want to make any changes on your website, you can simply come back here on this application and say stop site, and now that means that that website will not be able to be accessed via the browser here in Chrome. Ideally, this application is working as our web hosting environment locally and enables us to use or to make changes to our website via the browser. And all this is locally, and that's why you even see the domain over here. It is dnconsult.local. Now, once you change our website and move it to a hosting platform, it will have a domain like this, maybe your company name.com, your website, or your personal name.com or something like that. Now, back here, at the moment, we can even close over this application, but remember it will be running in the back end, or we can simply minimize it and it goes down over there. And then now we have these two windows, and we are going to be interacting with these two windows for the whole way throughout this tutorial. Now, once you have the WordPress application that we are going to be using to build our website, then you are going to come over here to Appearance, Themes. You are going to come here to add a new theme, and we are going to search for a theme called Astra. This is a theme that we are going to be using in our website design project. A theme basically helps to give a structure on how your website is going to look like in the very end. And in this case, we use Astra. Astra is one of the most popular, free and reliable WordPress themes out there, and that's why I do recommend it. So once it shows up over here, we simply say install. Once it is installed, you simply say activate. And once it's activated, now when we come over up here and then we say visit site, I'll open it up in a new window. You are going to realize that this new website now, after installing Astra, has changed the layout based on the previous default website that we had. Now that is what Astra does, and now we will be able to customize literally everything over here to look like how we want our website to be in the very end. Okay, I'll close over this. I come back to our dashboard, and then we are going to come over here to plugins. We're going to add a new plugin. A plugin is an extension that helps you to further advance or even add more functionality to your theme. And there are a couple of plugins in the WordPress repository, free and paid plugins. In this case, we are going to add a new plugin from Astra called Starter Templates. And this plugin helps you to get a number of pre-made websites that have been already made by Astra, and you can simply start by customizing. Now, what I'm going to do after searching over here, they show up here called Starter Templates, and at the moment it has over 300,000 active installations. What we have to do is simply install. So after installation and your plugin is activated, then when we come over here to install plugins, you realize that we only have one plugin, and that is the Starter Templates. Remember, our website looks like this at the moment. Now, the Starter Template is going to help us to get a pretty nice looking, already made WordPress website that we can use to customize it to suit the website that we want for our agency or even company. So we come back here to plugins, and then we are going to go to C library. And when we come over here to C library, we have to choose a page builder. A page builder is a tool or a plugin or an extension that helps you to easily customize a number of sections of your websites, from headers, footers, and page sections, templates, and all that stuff. I recommend to use Elementor because it is one of the leading WordPress page builders, but not only that, it gives you a couple of flexibilities to make changes to your WordPress website without a hassle, and it has a very short learning curve, as you will see in this tutorial. Now, once you are here, we're going to come right up here. We'll select a free template, and then we'll select one that is belonging to the business category. And all those templates that we're going to be seeing here, they will be compatible with the Elementor page builder. So right here, Elementor must be selected. And now we are going to come and scroll down here and look for a template that we want to use. Of course, there are so many other templates just like these over here. You can choose from any, but I prefer us to use a business template, and we want one that is actually free. So I'm going to scroll down here, and then I'm going to select this template called Interior Design Farm, or you can even choose any of the other templates right in here. So I come back here, select this template, and you see it's going to bring us page templates for the home, portfolio, about, testimonials, and even a contact page. And right up here, once you are satisfied with how this looks like, you can simply come down here and say import complete website. Now you have two options. You can either import a single page, which is a home page, or a portfolio page, but for us we want to import a complete website. Once you click on import complete website, it will start running the importer right here, and it will ask you delete previously imported site, import customizer settings, import widgets. At the moment we want to enable all these, and since we haven't yet imported any website before, we will simply leave this unchecked. So we say import, and now this is going to import a complete website for us, an already made website that has almost all the sections completely and well designed, responsive, and having high quality content. Now we will be in position to customize every other section of this website, like I'm going to show you in this tutorial. So congratulations, once your website has successfully been imported, you'll get this notification message. Now we can view our website, and boom, this is what we have at the moment. Looks really beautiful, has a logo with an amazing header, navigation menu over here, a background image. Actually, this is the transparent header, and we have all this over here, a hero section, a small gallery over here, a services section, some testimonials, client logos, and the footer section. Now it can also take you to other pages. This is the portfolio page. Looks really nice. See how that looks like. This too. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can create such sections in this website, how you can assign pages to some sections, how you can create these pages and add them to the menu. See all that. When you come to the contact page, I'm also going to show you exactly how you can add a contact page, how you can add also a contact form like this, where someone can simply come and send you a message with all this contact information. And also a map. This looks awesome. Now, that is how far we have gone. Now, when we come back here to our dashboard, we are going to simply close this. And by the look of things, first of all, I'm going to take you to this section called pages. And this is what we have. We have the about page, contact, home, portfolio, privacy page, sample page, and testimonial page. Now these are pages that have been imported when we imported our website, apart from the sample page and the privacy page. These are installed by default when you install WordPress. So these are others have been imported with our new website. Now when we come over here to appearance under menus, this is where you'll see the menu that is appearing on your WordPress website. At the moment we have one that is called a primary menu, and this is how it looks like: home, portfolio, about, testimonials, and contact. Just the same as it is over here: home, portfolio, about, testimonials, contact. We can even switch some of these menu items or something like that. So we have simply shifted the about page from down to next to the home. When I update, I come here to our page, I reload, you realize the about page will come over here, and boom, that's how it is. Maybe you're asking yourself, how do we happen to have these menu items over here? Now, these are actually pages, and to have a page over there, you simply come over here to the pages section, or you can even select a post, or you can select custom links, or even categories. In this case, we added pages. So these are the available pages in our website. But we may add one page, and that page is supposed to be available in your WordPress website. So how do you add a page? You simply come over here to pages, and then you say add a new page. And under here, you can simply add a page title or a page name. And we are going to add a page called services. Once you are done, you simply hit publish and publish. Now that means that your page will be now available, a page called services. When we come under to our all pages, realize that now we have a new page called services, just created 7 seconds ago. When we come here to our menu, you don't see any page called services. Now, how do we add a page called services over here? Simply come back to our dashboard, and we are going to come over here to appearance, menus. And right there, we are in position to look up here in the page section and look up for a page called services. Now it is over here, and we can simply select that page and then add to menu. When you add to menu, you simply have the menu item added over here. You can reposition it anywhere in your WordPress website. Let me just bring it over here after the about services and before the portfolio. Now what I'm going to do is simply to save menu. When I save menu and I come over here to our main website and I reload the website, boom, you realize that now we have a new menu item called services. When we open that page, it doesn't have anything because we haven't yet added anything to that page. Simply the header and the footer are showing up because by default, every page is assigned a header and the footer. Okay. When we come back to our dashboard, maybe you're asking, how do we happen to have a menu? Now, a menu can be created and also assigned to a specific section of your website. Let me show you. First thing, we can come over here and say, create a new menu. And you can give that menu a name. Let me say this is going to be our footer menu. And then we create the menu. We can assign sections or items to that menu. For example, you can assign pages, like I said, posts, custom links, or even categories. Let me assign just pages over here. For example, I may assign a page called services, testimonials, and the privacy policy. But before, I'm going to first save my menu. And then I'm going to come back here to pages. I'm going to make sure that we have our page called privacy policies published. At the moment, it is a draft page, so we can't have it shown up on our website. So when we preview this page, this is how it looks like. It has privacy contact information that by default, WordPress adds to your WordPress website. When I go back over here, I'm going to edit this page. And by editing, you can make changes to the contact information or the information in this page. For example, you can highlight, you can delete a section, you can delete or you can reformat a heading, something like that, and all that stuff. At the moment, I simply want to publish this page so that I make it available to be shown on our website. Now the page is published. When I come back here to pages, you realize that the page has been changed from draft to now published. Okay, now what we're going to do is simply come back to our appearance, menus, and we are going to come here to our footer menu. Of course, you can select which menu you want to edit from the drop down over here. At the moment, we have our footer menu selected. Now I'm going to come over here to view all, and I'll look up for our privacy page, which is over here. Then I can add this privacy page to our menu. The same I can do for services and testimonials. I can just simply add them over there. I can reorganize these pages to how I want them to appear in our footer section. I can simply now save changes. When I save changes, now that means that we have updated our footer menu. But how do we assign our footer menu to basically be in the footer? You simply come over here to the menu settings, display location, and say footer menu. Now this footer menu of ours will be set to be actually the footer menu on our website. Now we're going to go back here and simply save changes. Next thing that we have to look into is the general website settings. So where are these? You simply come here back to your dashboard and you're going to come here to the settings and come to the general. The general website settings basically talk about your website, what your website does and all that stuff. So here we can name this to be for all your interior furnishing needs. Let me say that's our tagline. You're not supposed to change this WordPress URL because when you change it, you're going to go into issues at the moment. Then the administration email, you'll change it once you actually move your website to a new host. And this will be the email where you want to receive notifications about your WordPress website administration or how your website is performing. Now, the other thing is that you can change roles and all that stuff. But the moment I'm only interested here in the time format. So you can change this to how you want your time and date to appear. But also you would want to know when your week starts. My week starts on Sunday. Then I hit save changes. Once you have updated your changes, then you're going to come over here to writing. At the moment here, you don't have to do anything. And under reading, here you'll have to select a static page, and that is going to be your home page. This is the page that you want to set up as your home page, and you want that to be a static page. The post page, will just leave this at default and leave it at select without any page selected. Then once you are done, simply hit save changes. Next thing we're going to do is simply come over down here to permalinks. Permalinks are basically how your WordPress website URLs appear in the browser. So once you have your pages set to post name, they will show up the page name over here in the URL. If you change this from post name to, let me say, like plain, it will show a plain or the page ID in the URL. Now this looks funny and it's not good for search engines, but let me show how this looks like. When I simply select this and then save changes, now when I click, for example, on the about page, we realize that at the moment we're having the about page name showing in the URL. But when you change to the plain text, this is how it's going to look like. It will show the page ID in the URL section of your browser. Just something like this, portfolio, services. And you don't want to have something of that sort in the URL. So you simply have to come back to your permalink settings and then come here and select the post name to show the page name or the post name in the URL section. Now, once that is updated, when we come back here to our website, and then let me say we select the contact page, automatically now we'll be having our contact page name showing up in the address bar. So we have already created our WordPress website by installing WordPress. We have set up our plugins and also the theme, and at the same time we have imported an already made website. We have seen how the header works, we have seen how the menu works, we have seen how we can also make changes to our menu and all that stuff. So at the moment we are going to head in straight and see how we can start customizing sections of our page. But before we go into that, we are going to look into how we can create our logo. And to create a logo, you are simply going to come over here to the new tab and then come to goteqg/CV. You'll come to a page, this one here. This is a platform called Canva. It helps you to create designs from logos, posters, videos, and presentations for free in the free version of this app. And what we are going to use this platform for at the moment is we are going to create our logo, and to sign up is actually free for the start, and in case you want advanced features, then you can always check out for the pro version and then you are good to go. So at the moment I'm going to click over here on the logo option. Okay, so once we are here, then we are good to start. The good thing with this specific platform or with Canva, you don't have to have prior knowledge in design. They actually bring you already made designs, or you can even use photos that are already within here That is, if you are on the free version, you have to look up for those that are in free. But if you are using a pro version, you also have access to a great number of resources. You can use elements and so many other elements, shapes, and all that stuff over here. You can use text, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can get started. You can add videos, you can change backgrounds, and there are also a lot of more other backgrounds over here. You can upload an image, or you can upload even videos to your Canva design section, and a lot more other stuff. So at the moment, we have our section over here, okay? And what we are going to do is we are going to create our logo. So to create a logo, I'm going to click over here to the text section, and I can look up for a template that probably I want to use for our logo. Randomly, I'm going to pick up this one over here. So I'm going to get this, and boom, by selecting it, automatically it is added over here. One thing I'm going to do is to ungroup. I'm going to delete whatever I don't want. So I've already deleted whatever I don't want at the moment. So what I'm going to do also is by double clicking, I can select the font that is within here. I can change this to DN Consult, and then I can delete the other font or the other text. Then I can easily also resize this box or section. I'll delete this, or I can even make it to be our tagline for our logo. But in this case, I don't want to show a tagline on our logo. I'm simply going to delete this. And now you see we have a product just like this. Maybe we want to add a shape, and this shape could be anything from any of these elements. Let me look through this over here. And at the same time, you can also draw your own shapes. So you don't have basically to use only the pre-made shapes in Canva. So I'll try to just get this over here. And I can shape it or resize it. I can position it to any section of our website. But in this case, I'm going to make it as our background for the logo. Position it something like this, a little bit down. And I'm going to make it something that looks like that. And then I am able to make changes to the color by clicking here on the section or on this shape. I can come over here. I can change the transparency of this. I can duplicate that same shape by clicking over here on duplicate. And you can come over here, make changes to the color. In this case, we are going to use a color like this. And for our font, we may also make changes to the font size, the font face, by choosing from a number of these other fonts. Change the styling, spacing, and a lot more. So at the moment, I'm simply going to choose a color for our font. Let me see how that will look like. This looks pretty good. And of course, I have to save the color codes for these colors that I have chosen, so that I can also use them later on in our website. So once you are done creating your logo and you are happy, you can simply also group these by selecting both of them and say group. If you don't want to group them, you can simply also ungroup. And that's all. Okay, now once you are done creating your logo, now what we can do is to save our logo. How do we save our logo? Simply come over here and say download. Once you download, you'll have this copy of the logo. You can choose to change the size, but that is only available in the Pro version. If you want a transparent logo, it will be in the Pro version. If you want to compress the quality, that is also in the Pro version, so you won't need to. If you had signed up for the Pro version, well, you can all do all that stuff. So at the moment, I'm simply going to download. And boom, now we have our logo created and downloaded. Now, when I open it over here, copy, bring to the desktop, DN Consult. See how it looks like? I love it. So we can also crop this logo like this in our website, and you'll see how that looks like, so that we can get rid of the white on top and bottom. Besides Canva, or if you don't want to do the logo yourself by using these shapes and playing around with Canva, I also recommend a tool called Fiverr. So by simply going to gotech.ug/Fiverr, you'll be in position to hire creatives from around the world. Many of them from graphic designers, digital marketing professionals, writing and translation professionals, video and animation, and all this stuff here. But in this case, you can just simply come over here in the search and look for logos, or logo designer, or logo services. And right here, from the impression you get of people, what they do for other clients and their ratings, you can simply hire a creative from as little as $5. In this case, they can deliver your logo in 24 hours or even in less than that, depending on the stipulated delivery time that you ask them to do. When you follow that affiliate link of mine, you'll be in position actually to get up to 20% off for your very first order. So consider using it if you're going to come and hire a creative from Fiverr. Now, since we are done creating our logo, I'm simply going to close over this. I'll close this over too. Then we are going to come back to our WordPress website, and we are going to come straight to appearance and customize. So under customize, we're going to come straight to the header. We're going to go to site identity, and you see this is where we have the logo. Now here what we can do is we're going to remove the logo, and we're going to select a logo, and we're going to come over here and we upload our logo. That's our logo. So we're going to say select that logo, and now we can crop our logo. So by simply resizing this like this, and down over here, and then you say crop image, boom, now we have a new logo. You see how that looks like. We can change the width of our logo. That of course changes the size of the logo. I prefer to make it 150. And of course you can also see how that's going to look like on different devices, the size of the logo. And again, you can make changes, or you can resize on that specific device. For example, on the mobile, I want it to be a little bit smaller, maybe like 100 pixels. And that's all. After resizing your logo, you can simply come right down here. Of course, you can also make changes to your site title. And these are the settings that we had looked into, the reading settings before. And you can choose whether you want to display the site title also once you show your logo. But before we go into that, let me first change the view to the desktop version, and also here our tagline. Select whether you want to show your tagline right here on your website. By selecting that, you're going to look just right here. Now our tagline is right there, only that now it is in black and so it can't be seen. But you see, when you see this, it means that our tagline is right there. You see how it looks like? Okay, but I don't want to show our tagline on our website. What I'm going to do is at the moment publish. But now you realize that also our header has not been displayed over here. What does that mean? I want to tell you that now this is a transparent header. So in this case, this website is using a different logo for the transparent header. Now when we come back here and we come to the transparent header, you see that there is another logo over here that is having basically white text and the shape over here. And of course that means that our logo won't be reflected because there is a different logo that is shown on the transparent header of this website. So how do we do that? We can simply uncheck this different logo for transparent header. No, we simply want to show the same logo if that is the case. See, now our logo shows up. But for our website, we are not going to enable a transparent header. So in our case, we are going to come back over straight here to the header options. And of course, we don't want to enable a transparent header. So how do we do that? We are going to simply uncheck this. And then we are going to come over right here and say we want only our transparent header maybe to appear on the mobile. But if you don't want to display a transparent header all over your website, just keep this on desktop and mobile. And we're going to come here on the background section, and we are going to give our background overlay color as white. Okay, now that means that we will have eradicated transparency over there, and you can also make changes to the content. For example, the menu items, the menu, the site title. You can make changes to the color over there. Now let's try to make changes to the site title. Of course, we are not showing the site title over here, so we are not making any changes over there on the colors. The menu items, we are going to make this to be the link swap the text color to be black. So I make it black, so now our menu item is back over there. And on hover, of course, the color is changing to a totally different color. Now remember, we have chose a different color for our project, which is this, so we can even make changes to the colors here, reflecting what is in our logo. So we can say on hover, the link should change to green, something like that. I advise that you actually use an eyedropper to sample colors so that you can easily have the same flow of colors. So at the moment, I have an eyedropper extension in my browser, and I'm simply going to come over here and then sample my color, which is this green over here. Pick up the color code, and I'm going to use that color code over here. So link stroke hover color, I paste my color code, and now I have my color code over there. Now that is on hover and link active. Okay, and normal, I have a different color, which is this over right there. On the submenu items, in case you have any submenu items, I mean those items that are under specific services, of course you can also style them here. And then also the content, in case you have any content right within your header, for example, you can come here and make changes to the color of that content. But in this case, we don't have anything, so I'll simply clear that. You can add a border size to your header, but at the moment we don't want to add any border to our header right there. So I'll simply now go back, come back over here to our primary header, and now we can even choose a layout for our header. You can make it to have the logo this side, the logo centered, or even the logo on the right hand side. Let me show you how that looks like. Just like that, and another just like that, but I prefer us to use this other layout. So you can choose to display your header as a full width or based on the content width. We'll leave it at default. We can also change the layout on the mobile devices. For example, we want our logo to be on the left hand side and the menu or navigation icon to be on the right hand side. You can also make that stacked. Let me show you here on mobile. The layout changes from inline to one that is actually stacked, just like this. So I prefer to have this other layout, and boom, there we go. Remember that I showed you how you can even make changes to the size of your logo on mobile, but at the moment, once you are done making changes to your header, including also your menu items, for example, when I switch back to the desktop, the last item in the menu, you want to display an HTML or text, which is the same thing over here. But you can switch that maybe to a button, or you can even switch that to a search bar or to a search widget, something like this. Okay, or you can make it to be none so that you don't have to show anything right here at the end. You see, something like that. But in this case, I want us to leave the default one, which is the text HTML, so that our visitors can easily see the contact on our website. And we can even change this to a different color, this icon over here. So when you read over here, this HTML, maybe you're not very conversant, but what I can see here is that we can change our color of this icon over here. So I'll simply come back here, and then I'll pick our green color, and I'll paste here our green color code. And you see now it has reflected green. If you don't have any knowledge in HTML, you can simply type here any words or any sentence, and you'll have that word, of course, reflected over there. And then you can make changes to the number or the telephone contact that has been displayed in that section. And of course, it will also be reflected right there. You can hide the last item in the menu on mobile, or you can even take the last item outside the menu. All those options are right there. You can check them out anytime. And once you are done, simply there, then you can say publish. And now we can view our header on a tablet. Of course, it's dropping down, and you see all this. And then on mobile, this is how it looks like. If we had chose to hide our last item on the mobile, then this telephone contact would not show up once someone clicks over here on the hamburger icon. But in this case, we want it to stay there. Okay, now we head back over here. Let's go to our preview website and see how it looks like. By reloading or by opening up a new tab, boom, you realize that now our website has changed from a transparent header to one with a background, and actually having our menu items change from this to this. Okay, if you want to convert it back to a transparent header, of course now you know where to go exactly, and then you can simply remove the background color and also make changes to these specific menu items. Styling. Now once you are done making changes to your header, we can also make changes to our website footer. Now remember, these changes are reflected all over your website, okay, on every other page. When now we open up the contact page, you realize that our header already also is reflected on the contact page. When you open up on the contact page before, this is how it looked like, having a different logo and the color on hover, or colors on hover. And here we are having a different logo, and then the icon over here on active, we have a color that we set up on that specifically. Okay, so once we are now done setting up our header, now let's head straight and start making changes to our footer section. So we can make changes to our footer by coming over here to the footer widgets, and we can choose which kind of layout we want to use. But in this case, we don't want to use the widgets in our footer area. We don't want also to show up the footer widgets area. What we are interested in at the moment is basically the footer bar. The footer bar is what appears just right down here below. And what we are going to do is we can choose the layout that we want to use on the footer bar. When you move straight here to the home page, you realize that our footer bar is actually using this layout over here, which is this over here. Okay, please don't be concerned about this, because this section here was added as part of the home page. Okay, so you can also choose from a different layout, whereby you're using the layout 2, whereby this content down here is one aligned in this specific manner, whereby you have part of the content on the right hand and part of the content on the left hand. Okay, now how do you switch which content appears where? When you select the layout that you want and you say you want section 1 to be text, and that text is going to be maybe your copyright information and then the site title, which is right down here, copyright information and then the site title. So these two are dynamic. When you change the site title, automatically also the site title here will change, and if you change the current year, or if the current year changes, automatically here it will also change. That means that if tomorrow is 2019 or if tomorrow is 2021, automatically it will come over there. And then on the section 2 here was chose to be none. Now if we choose to use maybe text, you realize that below this section is going to be another set of content. So if I publish over here, I update my page, you see how it looks like. Now we have a first section here and another below section right down there, and the first section is this over here, which is this content over here, and section 2 is this other content, and it should be below the first section, and that's what we see at the moment over there. When we choose this other layout and then we publish that layout, come back to our contact page and then we reload, for some reason the customizer is not showing us the results or the preview there and then, but when you come to our contact page, automatically the information is appearing right here. Okay, so maybe what we want to do is we don't want to show the second section, we don't want to show anything, but of course you can choose between a widget, a footer menu. Actually, let's use a footer menu in our second section, and if I publish here, I come here to our contact page, I want you to look here. You realize that now we have our footer menu right here. Now this is very good because we had earlier created a footer menu, and we assigned it to be a footer menu, and when we choose over right down here in section 2 to use the footer menu, automatically it's going to echo our menu, which has 3 pages, and it's going to show up over there. Now, once you are done making changes to your customizer, you can also make changes, or you can switch up the background. For example, I can say I want another background, or even I want to issue a background color or a background image on our footer bar. But in this case, I'm interested in a color. So come over here, paste our green, and then I can also make it a little bit darker. Something of that sort. And then I can simply publish. And then we can also make changes maybe to our content, how it looks like. That means the text color. This is actually in gray. And also on hover, we can make changes. You see before, when we hovered over anything over here, nothing is changing. So when we say the link color on hover, and maybe we change it to, let me say, another color, for example, our orange. Let me sample that orange. Copy the color code. Paste it over here. Realize that now we have our color there. And now when we publish, after publishing, we come over here to our contact page, and then we reload. Realize that our background has changed. And on hover, you see that our links now have changed the color. See how that looks like? That's beautiful. Okay, now we can proceed. Once we are done setting up our footer bar, now we are going to head back to our customizer. And in our customizer, we have another option. Before, we are working on the header, and then we worked on the footer. There is a section called the global settings. This is where you can make changes to your base typography, colors, and all that stuff. You can make changes to the headings, the font faces that you're going to be using in your headings. You can make changes to the container. The container is how wide your website is going to be like. You can change the layout over here. And then you can also make changes to the buttons. Once you add a button somewhere, by default, it's going to be having a button color, button border, a button text typography that you have set up. At the moment, we are not going to go into any of this section in the global. We're going to leave it at default. And then when we come over here to the breadcrumb section, we don't want to show any breadcrumbs on our website. We are not going to have a blog on our website, so we don't have to do anything over here. And for the sidebars is what appears on like blog post pages or single pages where you actually choose to display a sidebar. But in our website, we are not going to have a sidebar. And under the section of menus, you can create menus from here, but I've already shown you how to create menus under appearance menus. Now, we are going to close over our customizer section. And now we are done making changes on our website under the customizer section, with making changes on a header, telephone contact, menu, or the navigation widget, and also the footer bar right down here. Welcome back to this other exciting section of our website. We have created a header section, we have created a logo, we have added menu or navigation items, we have seen how to create pages, we have seen how to edit this contact over here, we have seen how to add a footer bar and also sections to the footer bar, and also a navigation or a footer menu. And now what we are going to do is basically to start customizing our website homepage. And at the moment, our homepage looks just like this. So how do we start customizing our homepage to make changes to the content over here? We are going to simply come back here to our dashboard. We're going to come to pages and click on all pages. And right here, we're going to look up for the homepage. And under homepage, you're going to click on edit with Elementor. I'll open that in a new tab. Elementor is the world's leading page builder. And at the moment, you can use it to edit any section of your website by simply dragging and dropping sections, elements, or widgets to your Elementor editing canvas. And that is also called as live editing. In terms of what you do is actually what you get. See, now after editing, maybe changing a couple of words or sections, and on the live preview, you exactly see how your website is going to look like. At the moment, we're going to make changes to this section. For example, we are going to delete these columns over here. For example, I'm going to delete this. and delete this. And then I'll also delete this other column. And now I'll remain with just one word over here. I'm going to make sure that this button is centered. So by clicking over here on the widget, edit icon, and come over here to the button options and make it centered. I'm going to make that everything within this column is actually padded. But before, there is some other widget over here, or text widget. I'm going to delete that. So I come over here to our main section option. By clicking over there, I can come over here to the advanced section and I can pad everything. So in this case, at the top, it was given a 190 pixel at the top because they wanted to use a transparent header, and this was going to be the transparent section. But on our hand, we want to add padding on the side and right this side. So how do you do that? You come over here, you have to make sure that this is unlinked. By unlinked, I mean that once you make changes to any of this section, for example, if you change this to another pixel or to another number, automatically everything will be changing to the same digit that you enter over there. So when you unlink that section, you can make changes to these digits to any section that you want. For example, on the right hand, we want to add like 100, and then on the left hand, we want to add like 102, and this is how it will look like on the home page. But at the same time, I want our content in this section to be centered. Okay, now once we preview this, that's how it's looking like. But I think we can also add more padding at the top. So when we come over here, so when we click here on this section and you look here at the padding, we can add more padding over there. For example, we can make it like 290, and you see how that looks like. Looks beautiful. Or what we can do, if you don't want to add more padding at the top, you can simply add more margin at the top so that we move this section from the top or from the header, because right now it is kind of sitting behind the header, because ideally the header was made to sit on top of this. But we won't go into those details. We want to simply add padding at the top, and we see how that looks like. Okay, having a background image, our header, and all this over here. Now the other thing that we are going to do is we want to see how this is going to look like on the tablet. We don't want this section to look just like this. So what I'm going to do is, number one, I can simply duplicate this section. Now that means we'll have another section over there. We can delete this column. And once we delete that column, we'll have an empty section just like this. We can come over here and then we copy this widget and we can paste it over here. You see now how we have another column, and then copy the button itself. So copy, come here to our section, and then we paste. Take note of these sections. This one in blue is the main section that is holding whatever you see when you highlight or when you hover over this section over here. Where the blue goes, that is what that section is holding. And here, this is a column, and this is holding whatever is in that column. When you hover over here, you see that the column is this. And inside here, we have an intersection, and that is the intersection that is holding this over here and also the button. Okay, now we are going to delete something. We don't want this widget over here. So we are going to delete that, and that's how we come to have this section on the tablet. Now, when we go on the mobile version, this is how it looks like. Really beautiful. Okay, you can even make changes to the typography settings of the mobile version. Now, when we hit update, and we're going to come over here to our home page. This is the page before. I'll open that up in the new tab. Boom. Before and after. I hope you like that. Me too, I like it. So the other thing we can do is we can make changes here and say maybe Kampala's modern, or Kampala's design solutions, or modern designs, whatever you want. But at least you have an idea on how you can make changes on the text over here. And the link, you can make this content over here linkable to anywhere when someone clicks over here by pasting here a hyperlink. For example, you can come over here and get a link to a specific page, and that page you add it over here, and then you are good to go. You can make changes to the HTML tag of this, because if you want to style up in a certain way all H1 tags, then that styling will apply to everything that is H1 tag. And here is where you can make changes to that. And like before, I've told you how you can make changes to the alignment of this specific section or widget. But also you can choose a different alignment based on a device someone is viewing. For example, if someone is on tablet, you can say you want them to see this text when it is left aligned. But when they are on desktop, of course, they are going to see this text when it is center aligned. But I want to leave everything when it's center aligned. So I come back here and I set it to be center aligned. We can also view this on a mobile, and this is how it looks like. You can also make changes to the padding and styling. But before we go into that, let me head straight back to the desktop version. And then we come over here to the style option, and you see that our text is white color. So when we come over here, we can make changes to the color of the text. You can change it to whatever you want. I want to leave it to be white. Typography, you can change that to any kind of typeface that you want. For example, if you want to use like PT Sans, you can set that to be your font. If you want to use like Montserrat, of course, by default, it's even using Montserrat. So I'll simply leave it on default. Okay, now, once you are done with that, there is something here called a button. By clicking over here on the button widget, you can come over here and make changes to the button. First of all, we are interested in the link. If someone clicks on this button, where should they go? Maybe you want them to go to a specific website. Maybe this is my newsletter. Go tech UG/newsletter. So you simply just bring them over here, and then they will be able to sign up. So when I come over here to my editor, and then I paste the URL to that newsletter. Now, when someone clicks on this button, they'll be taken to a newsletter. But maybe you want them to open up in a new tab. When someone clicks on this button, they'll open up in a new tab. And maybe you want to add a no-follow link, or you want to make this link a no-follow. This works very well if you don't want to pass on link juice to another website you are linking to from your website. Now, that aside, you can make changes to the call to action text over here. For example, see our projects, and then maybe you can rename this to be our portfolio. And maybe you don't want these colors and you want to make changes to the colors. You can simply come over here to style. You can change the typography. This includes the font, and at the moment it's using Montserrat by default. You can add a text shadow. You can change the color. You can even change the background color of the button itself to whatever you want. I want to leave everything at default at the moment, and you can even add padding, top, bottom, below of this same padding, or even whatever is inside there. And then there is something here called under the hover animation. When someone hovers on this button, which is not normal, so on hover, what happens? It is syncing. You can change that to be a bob. When I hover, see now it's changing. If I use skew backward, see how that looks like. But maybe I want to simply use a buzz, something like that. Okay, looks like too much, but basically you have an idea on what I'm trying to say. Now, you can even change this icon over here to maybe something else, maybe portfolio, portrait, whatever. Maybe you can add simply another one, search for another one. Okay, maybe a file one would work, something like that. Okay, you can even show it before or even after. You can add the spacing of before for that icon. There you are good to go. Now, once you are done making changes to this specific section, you can simply hit update. Now, when we come back here to our home page, we are going to reload. And boom, here comes our newly designed hero section, Kampala's design solutions, the button over here. We changed the icon. And when you look at the website before, or the hero section before, this is how it was looking like. Now I think we have something looking a little bit organized for the content on the front end, and when someone clicks over here, automatically they are taken to a new tab, and that new tab is to another website or any link that is within your website that you want to link up to, or specifically another page. And if you want to link to another page, you simply just come over here and search for that page. Let me say the home page, or maybe the services page. And by default, once you select the services page, it will update, and you don't want the services page to open up in a new tab. So when I update this, when I come over here to our website, I'm going to reload this. Now, when someone comes over here to view your portfolio, you realize that actually it is going to take them to the service page and it won't open up in a new tab. Okay, now that's something really nice. I'm going to come back here to our button. On the styling options, I want to change on hover the bars. I want to change it to something maybe like glow. Once I am done setting up that section, we can also make changes to any other sections of our website by coming back here to the home page. Using the same tactics I've shown you, you can make changes to this section over here and all these other sections. But before we go into that, I'm going to delete this section. We don't want it. So we just simply leave this simple and neat. You can change this over here. You can either even add like another section. For example, when I click here on add new, I can add another section from scratch. I can, add like 1 column, 2 columns, 3 columns of sections. For example, like this. Now that means I have 3 columns. I can come over here, get a widget that I want to show over there. I can come back here, get maybe another widget for a video I want to show on that section. Can come back here to the widgets area by clicking back here. Then I can maybe add like a price list by clicking over here. Okay, now I can't actually add a price list because it is actually in the Pro version of Elementor. If you need to use any of these widgets, you'll simply come over here to the new tab, enter in gotechug/Elementor. This will take you to the Elementor pricing page and see that actually some of these Pro widgets can only be accessed once you have the Pro version of Elementor. So once you consider getting Elementor, you can simply follow the link and you can get, like, for example, a single site license at $49 per year, a 3 website license at $99 per year. And this will give you a lot of flexibility in terms of creating content for your website. But now we are only going to focus at using the freely available widgets in the Elementor. So for example, when I come back here, I can add maybe a star rating widget. And for the star rating widget, I can click over here, come to style, and I can change the size of that star rating. I can change the color of that star rating. It is basically what you read over here, and you can simply change to whatever you want. Okay, you can align, can change the title of that star rating widget. You can come back here and select the widget edit option and come to the style, and you can make a couple of things. For example, you can change the background to a single color of something, or you can simply come here and select maybe a gradient that you want to use. You can come back here to the layout of this same widget and give it like a minimum height, and that minimum height may be something like maybe 490, something like that, so that it has that kind of specific height that you have set up. When we come back to our styling, you can change the colors for the gradient to the color that you want to be shown in the gradient section, and also the other color you can change it over here. You can even just enter in the color code of your colors. For example, if I want to use this one over here, I can simply enter here my color code. Okay, and you can even change the transparency of one of those colors. You can change the location of the color. You can switch the angle of that color. You can, make changes to what happens on hover when someone hovers over this section. Maybe you want to basically show another gradient. For example, when someone hovers over that section, you see now the color is switching. But maybe that's not what you want to do. By coming back here to the layout, you can choose to make the layout to be boxed or full width. You can choose the minimum height like I've told you. Vertical align. Vertical align is basically affecting whatever is within the specific section. By default, it is centered. But if I change this to top, it will automatically make everything that is within that to be centered to the top, or even the bottom, it will be at the bottom, or middle. So I simply leave it at default. On the advanced settings, you can come over here and set the margin. The margin on the top, when you set it, it will automatically create space at the top from the very first section to the other section. And even at the same time, if it's affected at the bottom, that space will be there. If you unlink over here and remove this, automatically the margins below will be deleted. In this case, we don't want to add margins. And then for the padding is basically the space that is added for all the elements that is in here. So if we say like we want to add like 300 of padding, that's how it will look like. If you want like add 30, that's how it looks like, both top, bottom, right, and left. You can unlink and also maybe add padding specifically maybe to the right and maybe to the left, and you have all that space. Now we are not going to go into that. So I'm simply going to come back here, delete this section. To delete the section, of course, you simply come and delete that section. If you want to duplicate a section, simply click on that section and duplicate that section. Okay, in this case, I'll leave this section over there. And on the other hand, for example, this section here, it has an image. Maybe you are interested in switching over these columns. You can simply just come and say switch column by dragging that column to the other side. You can also switch columns on mobile. For example, I select this section, I come to advanced, I come to the responsive settings, I can say reverse columns on tablet. For example, when I switch this on, note that this image is on the left. When I go to the tablet, you realize now the image has turned to the right hand side. If I say reverse columns on mobile, it means that also by default, remember, it is on the left hand side. Now, if I say reverse on mobile, again, this image is going to move to the right hand side on mobile. So by viewing that on mobile, that's how it's going to look like. Okay. Now, I don't want to do anything like that at the moment, but I want to show you exactly also how you can use another image for this case. So when I come over here, I select this image widget, I can click over here, then I can upload an image from my resources over here. For example, maybe I want this image for this lady. I can simply insert that image over there. I can select, come back to that image, and I can choose the width of the image, or even I can change the maximum width. But in this case, this image looks to be of very low quality. So I can simply click over here, delete that image, come back here, and I can look up maybe for another image that can do for me a good job on that very section. For example, if I choose this, it's about 950 pixels. I think that can work well. Can choose that, something like that. I can delete that. I can come back and then get another image to use. This is the best, the one that was there, and I can easily use that image to this very section. You can add a number of settings. You can add CSS filters, like you can add brightness, sharpness, or whatever you want. You can add saturation, remove saturation, can even make it black and white, something like that. These are some of the really amazing editing features of the Elementor page builder. Now, we may also want to use maybe a different background over here on this section. By clicking on that section, coming to style, you can say I want to use a video as our background, or I want to use a slideshow as our background. And of course, a slideshow will keep playing images in the background. And if you choose to use like a video, you simply go to like YouTube or any video platform, and you can easily add a link of that video that you want to be playing in the background. You can set it up to whatever you want to show up right there. In this case, I'm not interested in showing a video or a background over there. You can still edit any of these sections here, or maybe you can simply create a new section to basically maybe show your portfolio, and you can come over here to the widgets area and maybe select portfolio. This option is only available in the Pro version, but maybe you can use a gallery and then come over here, add your gallery, and you can select the number of images you want to show up in your gallery. For example, these images. Then you can create a new gallery and you can insert that gallery. See how that looks like. You can choose to use medium size of the images, and you can choose the columns. Maybe you want 3, and you can link those images either to the media file, attachment file, or none. You can use a lightbox. For example, when now I update this page, I come over here to my page that I'm working on. I reload that page, which is the home page. So now we have this section, we have this over here, and now we have our gallery over here. Now when someone clicks over here, it will open up in a lightbox. Someone can navigate through the projects that we have worked on, okay, using a lightbox. Now when I come back here to our Elementor website, we can change this and say our winning projects, or we can say basically works of our hands. You can even add a description for this specific title over here. You can now delete this other section here if you don't like it, or if you don't want to use it. You can also delete this other button over here. But if you want someone to see more of those projects, instead of adding a new section, you can simply drag this button into this other widget or section, and it will be right within that section. I can now delete this other one. Then I can center my button right here. And under here, I can simply link that up to our portfolio page by searching here for the portfolio. And when someone now clicks over here, they will automatically be sent to the portfolio page. Once I come back to our home page, I reload our home page. You see that now our title has changed to works of our hands, and our button is just right under there. Okay, now the other thing that you can do is, of course, if you don't want to basically go back, you can simply just always click here on preview options, and it will basically take you to the preview page, and you can still preview the changes that you have done on that specific page. Okay, now before maybe we go into another section, I want to show you how do you move a section. For example, we are here and we want maybe this section to be moved to the other section just here, or before this other section here. So you can simply grab here a navigator, and once you select this option, automatically the navigator will highlight that section. So when I select this, I can even say this section is called Why Choose Us by renaming it. And then maybe I want this section to be just 2 sections on top, this section and this other section. And that's why now we have that section just there. The same we can do for all the other sections. But in this case, we want this section to be just under Why Choose Us section. And then we can choose that everything after that we can delete it from our home page. For example, this section for the logos, even the testimonials, we can say, delete that. Or we can also simply hide a specific section. This will basically hide that from your website. Or you can simply come here to this section and then come to advanced, come to responsive, and then you can say hide on desktop, hide on tablet, and hide on mobile. Now it means that this section will not be available on your website. That's why it's even having this kind of a locked feature. Now once you update, automatically your preview page is going to update. And once I come right down here, you don't see any logos showing up here. We can do the same for all the other sections that we want to hide, in case you simply don't want to delete a section. So I'll simply leave what our clients have to say section, and I am good to go. Now once I'm done editing my homepage, I simply update. And once I update, there we go. We have our homepage having these sections, content, our gallery, testimonial, and that's it. So maybe you have another question. How comes we have this section here on our homepage, yet we cannot edit it here in the homepage section? This particular plugin helps you to create free headers and free footers, even blocks using Elementor. I've actually created a separate tutorial on this specific plugin and how you can use it in creating headers and footers for your WordPress website using Elementor, and I'm going to leave a link right up here in the description box below. So let's look into how our footer section, which is this over here, was created using Elementor by the use of this plugin. So this plugin was installed, and when you come right over here to appearance, there is something called header footer builder. Once it opens up, you see that there is something called footer, and this is the footer template. So when you preview this section, you realize that this is the section right here that was created by Elementor and was set up so that it appears on the homepage footer section. Now when I come back here to the footer section, I open it with Elementor. This is how it looks like. It has a custom color. When you look here in the background, has a color over here. It has the image over here, has the social icons, and even has this over here. For the home section, you see that it has its copyright information here and the footer area, and that is what is over here. And in case you want to make changes, you can also switch that up and suit what you want to create for that specific section. And if we exit back to our header footer template, you realize that on creation of this footer, it was made to display on the entire website, but it was excluded from showing on the contact page website or from the contact page. And that's why you see that on the contact page, we are able to preview our customly made footer bar, which is this over here. And also this contact page doesn't have that footer right here because it was excluded from appearing. But if you go over and maybe look at the portfolio page, you realize that we have our footer that was created by Elementor and was assigned to show on the entire website. Okay, now in case we want our footer to show right on the entire website, you can simply come over here and say edit, and then right here you want to show that this template is a footer section and you want it to display on the entire website. And then here, instead of saying do not display on the contact page, we want to delete that. We want it also to display on the contact page. Okay, and then here we can simply update. Now once we have that updated, come back here to your contact page, reload the contact page. Then you are going to realize that now we have our footer show up right here. And now that means it will cover up even the footer that we had created earlier before for our website. But in case we don't want to use this whole section, you can simply delete it, or by simply coming over here to the published option and change it to draft. Now you realize that actually our footer will be having the footer bar all over our website. So when I come to the home page, I scroll down, you see that now our footer section is not anywhere to be seen. When I come to the testimonials, same thing, no footer section. Even the contact page, same thing over there. Now, how do you create a custom footer section or a header? You come to appearance, header footer section, you can simply say create a new. And here you can name it. Maybe you want a header, or you want a footer, or basically you want a block section. And then you can choose from the options here whether you want it to be displayed as a header, a before footer, a footer, or a custom block. I will not go into that. If you simply want to see how you can use this template to create a couple of sections, you simply watch the tutorial right there in the description box below. Next, we are going to look into how we can customize a specific page, or we can create from scratch a specific page. We created our services page and we don't have any information right there. Now, when we come back here to our dashboard, you come to all pages, you come right down here to service page, you edit that page, and by default it's showing like this, but we want to edit this page with Elementor, and here we are. We can start by adding a number of sections, but the main thing I want to show you is that you can even copy or get a copy of a section from another page and use it on a totally different page. For example, when I come back here to our dashboard, and then I'm going to come to pages, I'm going to open up our home page with Elementor. I can come over here to this main section, I can say copy, I can come to our service page and I can paste that section. I can say our services. I can come to this section here at the top, and then I can set a minimum height and say maybe fit to screen. That will give it like a minimum height that fits to the screen, or I can choose from a height that I want. I can come to the advanced options and I delete the padding options. I'm going to link them up, then I'll delete everything over there, and I can even say I want to add some custom padding at the top. Let me say like 50, and I can come back here, I can add like a minimum height for this specific section. Okay, I can also come here to the internal section and I delete the bottom padding so that it's uniform, and I can delete our button over here. And if I want to add a custom button, I simply come over here to the widgets, search for a button widget, drag it over there, place it, and I am good to go. I have a button added now. But anyway, I don't want a button. Now we have created the first section on our service page, but remember we also had another section on our homepage that had something to do with services. You know, it has all these services, so I can simply come over here and say copy this section, come here to our services page, I can simply paste this section. Okay, now these are the services we offer. You can add or duplicate this section and add a number of other services. For example, when I click over here, you see that it's an image box widget. So when I duplicate this, now I've duplicated that section and I delete everything here. For example, if I delete all the first items, you see that I remain with 3. I can come back here, I search for an image box. This is how it looks like. Adding it over there, I can now add images as my icons, for example this over here, and now I can add description text just like this. You can change that here too. Mr. Lighting as a service, and you can even duplicate this exact same section to another section just like this. You can change the background of this specific section to something that you want. I want to leave it at default, and if I no longer want that section, I can simply delete that. I can preview this section on a tablet, on a mobile, to see how it will look like, and that's all. I can even add links to specific pages or sections, or a contact page for a specific widget or a service if someone wants to contact us. So you see now here, someone can click over here and they can go to our contact page, which is on the same thing here, and you do that from over here. And like I said earlier, you can even open it up in a new window. Now once you've added your services, then you are good to go. You can simply update. The other thing that you can use is already made templates. Elementor brings you already made pages just like this over here, and also blocks over here. These are some of the already made blocks that you can use in your Elementor enabled websites. And you can even come over here and you can filter them based on a service, maybe about, archive, call to action, clients, contact, or basically you want service blocks, and here they will show up. If you don't want to use templates made by Elementor, you can create your own templates and they will be saved over here, and you can simply import those page templates in your Elementor pages. In this case, I don't want to use any templates from Elementor. Let me check out this other widget, which is made by Astra. Astra also makes, like I've told you already, pre-made starter sites, or even also makes single pages for like services, you know, about, homepage, contact, and all that stuff. So right here, they are already made pages that you can select from for a services page. Or you can even come over here and search for service. And over here, you'll get service page templates that have already been pre-made by Astra. In this case, I'm not interested in full pages as a template to use in my service page. I simply want a block. And by simply switching over here to block, I can come over here and I filter a block based on a page that I'm creating. Now I want a service block. And right here, Astra will list all the service blocks available. So if maybe I'm interested in this one, I can preview that. If it impresses me, I can import the block. When I import that block, it will be added to my page in Elementor. And boom, this is where we are. Okay, and you can still make changes to anything right within here. In this page, you can change colors, change fonts, and all that stuff. Once you are done creating your service page, having whatever you want, whether you're using already made templates, or you are simply borrowing sections from another section, or you are creating everything right from scratch by starting over here, well, it goes back to what you want. Once you are done, you simply hit update. And now when we come over here to our services page, before it was empty, but now you're going to see that we have content on that page. See, now we have our services, listing the services, and right down here, we have another section. You can even rename that section to something else. Let me say from third parties. Maybe these are services that you also have to hire another company to do for you. Okay, and you can list them right there, or you can even add call to actions to this section, and there you are good to go. So when I come back to my services page, I reload, you realize that our header shows up over there, and there we go. Now once you are done creating or adding content to your services page, you can close this over, and now we are going to look into something else that is very interesting from Elementor, and this is called the theme styler. It is available from Elementor 2.9. Now, how does the theme styler work like? You see that now our website is actually using the styles that we have set up from the theme. And these are the colors, including the menu colors. For example, these over here, the button colors, and the heading stylings. Everything within our website. But we may choose not to use these ones, and we basically set up everything to be managed by Elementor. How do we do that? When you open up any page with Elementor, you can come over here to the hamburger icon, and you come and open up the theme style. And the theme style will open up a window just like this. But before we head into the theme styler, I want you to first come back to your website dashboard and come over here to Elementor settings. And then you have to make sure that you have disabled default colors and disabled default fonts. Okay, now once you have that enabled, then you can simply hit save changes, come back here to the theme style, and you are good to go. You can add different background colors based on a widget or section that didn't have a background. So if you had added a custom background color on, for example, this section, this global styling for Elementor will not apply. It will only apply to a section that doesn't have a background color. The typography option will help you to style up your Elementor website. For example, all heading ones will have a default font face and size based on what you set up from here, and that will be implemented all over on your website. That's why when you are creating these headings and you are basing everything on the theme, you should leave them as default in Elementor, okay, so that you don't set up individual fonts in Elementor, the customizer. That will help you so that when you are making changes to your theme style, it will be implemented globally. For example, this is a heading one, and if I come over here, it is set to default. Now the default, it is using the default heading one that is made by, or that is provided by Astra, that you've set up under the global settings that I showed you. Now when I come over here and I change this to maybe Helvetica, This will mean that every page that is having a heading 1 element will change the font face to Helvetica. If I change that to maybe Open Sans over here, it will change all the headings all over. Even if I change the sizes for those headings, everything will change for all those heading ones. Okay, something like that. And even for the colors, that is if you want to use a specific color for your heading. In this case, I'm going to change it from pixels. I want all heading ones to have an EM of maybe 5 sharp. Now that means that all my headings will have that. So I'm going to use Open Sans for all my typography font faces. Now when I come to H2, I'm going to use Open Sans. And that means that all my H2s will have Open Sans all over my website. Let me add some weight, something like 400. And then when I come to the H3s, I'll do the same from default. I use Open Sans. And then I'll come over here to the weight and I use like 400. And that's it. So you can do the same for all the others. The other interesting bit are called buttons. So now I've opened up my homepage using Elementor, and I'm going to come right here to the theme style, and you realize when I come over here to typography, see everything is using default. But before I go into that, let me head straight down here to buttons, and I'm going to show you that we can set up a default or a different styling for the button using the Elementor theme style. And here we can say we want a background color, which is very different from that. Maybe we want it to be yellowish, something like that. And then the text color, and maybe it will be black. Now you see that this button is not changing. Reason is that we set up this button, or we made changes to this button using the homepage canvas. Now we didn't use the default theme settings that we set up for the buttons. That's why you see that the buttons that are having the default theme settings, the changes have been reflected. Okay, now when I come here, I change, you see that now that color changes. Even the one for the inner font, you see that one changes. Okay, that's why it is very vital that when you want to use the global theme style for Elementor, you make sure that all your page elements and sections, they are using the default styling by their theme. Now the other thing you can do changes to, for example, there are the form fields, like for the contact form, and that we are going to see later on in this tutorial. Now we have now effected the changes on our buttons. Now I'm going to open up my home page. I'm going to close this over, and I'm going to come here to this button that we had customly made changes to. Basically I'm going to come over here and I'll grab a button element, and then I'll delete this other button. Then I can come here, add maybe this link going to a services page. See, now by default all our buttons are showing the same styling, but if you are going to change it to custom settings, for example changing the link, of course our default styling will change from one to use. But that's okay if you want to change it on the page level, because you want it to look probably a little bit more unique and different. So let me say our portfolio. Okay, now once you are done making changes to your homepage and also the global styling for your theme, then we can continue and make changes on other sections of our website. And now the other most interesting section of our website is the contact page. How do we set up our contact page? So I'm going to simply exit to the dashboard. I'll come back here to our pages, and by default when we imported our website, we also imported the contact page, and I'm going to open this up with Elementor. And the contact page, this is how it looks like over here. It's having this image or the hero section and also the contact form over here. So when you come here to the contact section, you realize that you have all this over here. You can delete some sections or remain with some sections, but I'll leave everything here at default. We are more interested here in the form. So how do you add this form to your website? Number one thing here is you have to need a plugin, and that plugin is called WPForms. When we come here to your pages or to your dashboard, you come to plugins, you realize that we imported, or by default the website we imported also a plugin called WPForms. This plugin helps you to create custom contact forms, conversation forms, and all that. And how you create forms, you simply come over here to the WPForms widget, click over there, and right here we have a contact form 1. When we come here to our Elementor section, you realize that we are using a shortcode, and that shortcode is basically this shortcode right here. So we are basically calling over this contact form to be displayed on this section of our website. So when I open up this contact form, you realize it's having the name field, email field, phone field, subject, and message, and this is the same right that is happening right here. And remember also the button is reflecting the button styling we set up in our Elementor theme style. Now when we come back here, you can make changes. You can remove sections or fields you don't want to collect. For example, the phone, you don't want to collect the phone field, but maybe you want someone to give you their name and the first name and the last name. So I simply had to drag that over here, and then I can delete this over here, which was by default. And then right here you can choose and say we want the first name, and then the label name is actually name. And then if you don't want the label name to appear just like as it is over here, you can simply remove that over here. Okay, and then you can also remove the required sign so that we want everything to appear just like this. And then under the advanced options, you can choose to use a placeholder, for example, first name, and here last name. Okay, that is for the placeholder text. And right here you can say hide label, and then maybe you hide sub labels, the two down here. Now in case you wanted to remain with this label here that is saying name, now it will not appear because right down here we've selected to hide the label. If we leave it enabled, of course the name will show up there. So we have hidden the label. And we can also increase on the field size, for example, by coming over here and select it to be large, so that we increase on the size of the name field where someone has to enter. If you select it to be small, that's how it will look like, but we want it to be large. And I want to tell you that these forms are actually also mobile responsive, so you don't have to worry about that. And now on the settings option, you can configure the name of this form. For now, it's called contact form 1. We can name it to be DN contact form. Okay, and then you can describe the contact form, and here you can edit the message you want to display on the submit button. This is called send, and then here you can say send message, like it says send message, change it to submit to us, maybe submit to us, something of that sort. And once it's sending, it will show this message, and you can enable the anti-spam honeypot. The other part is the notifications. This is a section for the notifications, and also this is a section for the confirmation. I have a separate tutorial on how you can set up the WPForms for your Elementor website, and I'm going to leave it up here in the link or in the description box below, so that in case you are experiencing challenges on setting up this form, you can easily follow up that tutorial. So once you are done setting up this contact form over here, we've changed the name, DN contact form, simply save changes and then copy the code. Now this is the shortcode, and once we close this over, we come back here to our website, and then you see that now we have this. Now how do you add this contact form here? You simply come over here and then look up for the shortcode widget and drag that shortcode widget to your section of the website, and then paste your shortcode. And now you see that we have two different ones. This is the one before, and now the one after we have created is this, and this, and has the button called submit to us because we changed the button label text. So I'm simply going to delete this one over here, and now we remain with this other. And of course, remember, we simply just edited the default one that was existing, which was this. But in case you want to create separate contact forms, you can simply click over here and then start creating your contact forms from scratch using WPForms. Now, once you are done creating your contact form, And now you have your contact form here and all your address details right here. You can edit this information over here. Say this is DN consult, and your address details, clicking over here, changing the address details and the contact information. You can even remove the background image over here. For example, when you come over here, come to style, you can delete this background image so that it will stay just blank, just like that. You can remove this map, or you can even make changes to it. How do you get such a map? Simply add a new widget, come over here to the widgets area, then search for a map widget, get it over here, drag to your canvas, and you'll get your map over there. You simply have to now enter your address. Let me say my address is Kampala, Uganda, or you can say plot 100, 150 in Kampala, Uganda. Okay, that is if that location exists. So I'll simply leave it on default. So I'll delete this now, get the default, and then you are good to go right there. You can also style up your map. For example, you can change the CSS filters, and you can say maybe you want it to have no color. Okay, and maybe by default you want it to zoom into exactly to that spot, and that's how you happen to have something of this sort. But in this case, I want the CSS filters to change, or the map to be kind of a highlight. See, something like that. I can delete this one here. I can set up like a minimum height for this map, and then I can come back here to our map widget, come here to the content, and we can say the height of this map is going to fit into this kind of height, maybe 470. So on the main widget, I can come over here and change this to 470. And responsive settings, you can see how that map is going to look like, and at the same time you can make changes on the height of your map on a specific device. Anyway, that's all for now. That's how you can customize your contact page from using Elementor on your newly designed website. And now once you are done, you simply hit update. Once you update, we can reload over here, and boom, we have our contact page and having our map, whereby if we hover, it's looking something like that, and our footer. Now once we are done creating our website, having everything that we want, the home page, about page, services page, the contact page, having all the contact information, all the information that we want on our website, just like this. Even when the contact page is set up, our services page, our location, contact details, everything, and you are fully satisfied that now you are done with your website, the next thing we need is to take our website online. Our website will be accessed on the internet when someone visits our domain. So what we need now to do is to get a domain name and hosting. Now to get a domain and hosting, you're simply going to come over here to gotechug/Bluehost. Bluehost is the #1 recommended WordPress hosting provider, and this is also mentioned on the official WordPress website, which is over here, and Bluehost is right up here, and it's recommended, of course, by WordPress itself. Bluehost basically helps you to get your website online, and by coming over here to Bluehost, you simply just come to hosting, shared hosting, and then over here you are in position to choose a plan. For example, you can choose on a monthly plan. Okay, you can choose a basic plan, plus plan, choice plus, or even a pro. I always recommend that you start with a plus because it helps you to get enough space, and that means that if this project is through, you can even launch another website using the same hosting package. And now once you are here and you select the package that you want, simply come over there. You can choose a domain, for example dnconsult.com, or it can be .online.site.org.info.co. Then you search boom, if your domain is available, you'll get this kind of notification. Then here you can simply add your account information, your residence, all that stuff over here. And one thing I have to mention is that when you choose under the plan, make sure you choose the plus plan, because the plus plan will be discounted, and that comes at $5.9 per month. But of course it goes for a longer period of time. I recommend this because you'll get hosting at a very reliable amount of money, and it will take you for a longer time, and you even have time to split test the platform. But if you don't have that budget, you can still go for the 12-month plan, and that will go for $7.5. And right here you actually get a domain name for free, and you'll also get an SSL certificate that helps you to protect your user information once they are transacting on your website. Under the package extras, you'll have to leave the domain privacy, because this will help you from getting spam from people who are trying to reach out to website owners. You simply disable the other options here, and right down here you'll get over 60% off on your total budget. And once you are good to go, simply enter in your card information, the CVV and the expiry, and you agree to the terms and you submit. Now once your account is created, your domain will be assigned to you, and Bluehost will actually contact you and say, hey, your account information is this, and you can log in from here. The good thing with Bluehost is that they even offer you a 24/7 customer support for your website. Now since you are done creating your website, you simply want to move their hosting, they will help you. You simply have to call them, or even just go here to the live chat and tell them, hey, I've done creating my website, how can I move to your platform? I've already created my account, and this is my account. Now once you contact the support, or once you simply want to be helped to get your website online, one thing you're going to do is, one, you're going to come back to your website that you've created, and you are going to come right here to the dashboard, and you're going to come to plugins, and then you're going to add a new plugin. This plugin is called WP Vivid. WP Vivid is a free backup, restore, and migration tool for WordPress, and you can use it to simply back up your whole website anytime and save your files somewhere, or you can simply use it to move your website to a new hosting platform. So once here it is installed, you simply hit activate. Now once it's activated, it will bring us right here to this window. What we just need to do is simply, we're going to back up our whole website to a local computer, which is our computer right here. So I'm simply going to hit backup, and now this is going to save our whole website right here on our computer, and then we'll be able to just get this whole website and move it to our hosting platform, whereby our website will be accessed by anyone on the internet. And boom, already now our backup is done, and what you're going to do is simply download this backup. So when you download this backup over here, it will be saved on your computer. Once your account is set up on Bluehost, the hosting platform, the support will help you to install WordPress on the account, and you'll get a login and password. Once you have the login and password, then you're going to simply come over here to that login. It will be your domain name that you chose, /WP-admin. And once you are here, you simply enter in your login details, or the username that they have provided with you for your WordPress. So you simply enter in, for example, mine is admin, enter in the password. It should be a correct password, and boom, you log into your new WordPress website. Now what you're going to do, you'll simply just come over here to plugins, and you'll have to install WP Vivid plugin on that new website, or on that new WordPress installation that is done on your new domain. So you simply say WP Vivid. Remember that now here we are working on the live domain, or on the new WordPress installation on the internet. So you simply install and activate WP Vivid. Once it is installed and activated, now we are simply just going to come down here, and then we are going to come to upload, and this will help us to get our backup, or the backed up version of our website on a local computer. Select that, come to the downloads, and then look up for your backup, which is this. Select that, and then you'll simply say upload. Now when you upload this backup, everything will reflect what you have on your local computer, or whatever you've been designing on your local computer. And after your website that is on a local computer has been restored on the internet or now be accessed by everyone, your default WordPress login details for your online domain will change directly to what you have been using locally. That means the username and the password, and every other link will work super fine, just like you're going to see in this tutorial. So once your upload is done on your live website, it will show up just like this. Then you simply say OK. And what you're going to do next is very simple. You're going to come back here to your website, just visit the website. But before we go even into visiting the website, because now we simply uploaded our backup, we're going to say restore. And this is going to start the restoration process. It will start running the files that are in the backup, and it will restore these files on our new website or on our new server. So we are going to restore that, and make sure not to close this window before the website is restored. Boom! Once the restoration is completed, you simply click OK, and automatically it will log you out. Now to log back in, you have to use the username and password that we're using on the local host. So the username is dnconsult, and then the password is this, and boom, finally we log into our WordPress website. Please make sure you don't forget the username and the password you have been using on the local computer. That's why it's very important you save those two somewhere else. So now we have our website on the internet. Now let's go and see how it looks like. So by coming over here, and we are now going to preview our website on the internet, and boom, this is how it looks like, having our logo, all this over here, the header title in the hero section, not forgetting our contact over here, everything here like we made them on the local computer. See that now even the links or the buttons are all reflecting to the exact pages that we're redirecting them to. For example, this is supposed to go to the portfolio. So when I click over there, it automatically takes me over to the portfolio page, and still you can navigate through your portfolio page the way you want. You see even our photo is reflected over there. When I come here straight to the contact page, you realize that now also our contact page is just like we set it up before, with the contact information over here, message, subject, and even the button that we set up with a call to action message, including our map over here. So in a nutshell, that's how you can launch your website online. With just a few clicks, you don't have to do any changes actually when you launch your website on the live server after backing it up with WPVid, and then you are good to go. If we come back here to view our images, see now they are showing up. And also if you want to speed up your WordPress website, I'm going to leave a tutorial on that right down in the description box below. So in a nutshell, congratulations on creating your WordPress website. First, having it on the local host, just like you see here. Let me open it up for you here. This is on the local host environment that is powered by local by Flywheel, which is this over here. And that's why we are having this .local extension. And now after you getting the domain and you have your website hosted on Bluehost so that it's accessed by anyone on the internet, this is how it will display. When you are done making changes to your website, you can simply log out here. And once you log out, that means that no one else can make changes to your website unless you are logged in. And right here, you are in position to see the affected changes on your WordPress website. Please let me know what you think about this tutorial. If it brought you value, please let me know also in the comment box below. If you have questions and comments, also let me know in the comment box below. Otherwise, if you like the tutorial, please give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. See you in the next tutorial. Have a good time. Enjoy building. Goodbye.